Hey folks, welcome to Games of James. I am James, you're you. Now that introductions are over, let's get to the games. Today we're taking a look at Yigderra. This is a Mork Borg hat brought to us by Caleb Engelke at Dungeon Havoc Games. It is the result of a successful Kickstarter that I backed in March, but otherwise I am non-affiliated. Like I said, Yigderra is a Mork Borg hack, which means it takes the basic rules of Mork Borg and changes them a little, puts it in a new setting. This setting is actually pretty cool. It is a game where gods from various dimensions from the multiverse were all killed at one time in some unknown cataclysmic event, and the results of which is that all realities have merged into one dimension. So you have like high sci-fi spaceports merging with cavemen Neolithic worlds. You have, aliens mixing with humans, all sorts of stuff coming together in one world. Also, the result of that is that you have technology, you have magic merging together. The problem with that is that now things are slowly decaying, the world is falling apart, technology is falling apart. Magic is falling apart. Like the world is just, succumbing to entropy. I guess the gods were holding it together, and now that everything is mushed together, things are now falling apart. So, with that, here is a, little piece of flavor text to tell you what the world is. There is different sections of the world that I've combined into one, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Character creation is actually pretty simple. It is a d6 minus 3, and you put that down the line. Of course, you are free to choose ultimately how to do it, but in this type of game, it is you roll strength, then you roll agility, then you roll toughness. Like, you don't roll and then assign as you choose. But if you wanted to make the game a little bit easier, go ahead and do that. Standard difficulty test, greater than the DR on a D20. Not revolutionary game mechanics here, but it doesn't have to be. The nice thing about this is that the world falling apart is reflected in the game mechanics. So right here we see that there is something breaks. So if a PC does something that is a critical success, like a natural 20 on the test, a piece of technology breaks, or something in the world falls apart to their benefit. If you roll a 1, something falls apart to their detriment. So the example that they give is like, they're trying to sneak past guards, they roll a critical success, and like a steam pipe breaks and the guards go check that out. But if it is, they fumble it, it blasts right in their face or something. In this world, they have a stat called mana. Mana is kind of similar to incantations and rituals and stuff like that. But it's, it is this metaphysical currency that you use to activate stuff. So if you want to activate a piece of technology, you would spend mana. If you want to use a relic, you would spend mana. But you can also use mana to do the various things like shown on the screen. You could deal max damage, reroll someone's dice or your own, lower damage, lower a test DR. So it's an interesting mechanic. You have 4 mana each day. Your quote-unquote character class, your archetype, can change that. But, there are no character classes. You have what's backgrounds. They give you some basic backgrounds. With this game, there's kind of like a light-hearted tone to it. So it's not so serious. So you can make whatever fantastical background that you want to make. So they have some pre-existing ones. So you have like technology with goblins, stuff like that. But they give you the rules on how to make your own custom background. So if you wanted to make your own, or if you wanted to incorporate a character from Mork Borg or a Mork Borg hack or something, you can convert it to here. And again, it's pretty straightforward. You can make this game as serious or as silly as you want. I would play it more with a lighthearted tone. But this poor background, the unfortunate, where it's just very hard for you to die. It's pretty funny. A lot of room for creativity here. A lot of room to add your own personal flair to this. And like I said, you can make it as serious or as whimsical as you want. They try to play it off as being pretty whimsical. This could be a nice palate cleanser between your grimdark campaigns. If you're running a game of Mork Borg, and your next one is going to be Flair, you might want to do something a little bit more silly. This could be a good palate cleanser for that. Combat mechanics, pretty straightforward. Nothing too revolutionary. Here's some examples of weapons that you can get. And again, it's a mixture of high technology, sci-fi, medieval, Neolithic stuff. Again, nothing, revolutionary, but it is a fun game. And like most hacks, this doesn't match quite mathematically like other games do. But that's not really the point. This is just you're going to make a character, you're going to have fun, end of story, right? The PDF clocks in at 44 pages, and it's 44 pages that are well thought out. The rules are pretty clear and straightforward. The vagueness is not detrimental. The vagueness in this game is allowing for creativity. It's a very lightweight game system. It's a very lightweight game. But you're not really, putting too much thought into this. This is really just for a fun, quick game. And to be honest, you're probably not going to be running, years-long campaigns with this. This might be a few one-and-done adventures. This is a game that you crack out if you have, most of your regular group has gone on vacation or something. Like we have Easter coming up. If your friends are traveling and you have a couple of friends that are left, I would crack this out. They give you, of course, tables to create your own NPCs, whatever godless abomination you want. So you can just, roll twice on the table. And so you can have an elephant mixed with a fire elephant. Yeah, that's possible in this game. You can have I would love to see if you roll an 83 and an 84. Skeleton gelatin. Which, gelatin is actually made from boiled bones, if I remember correctly. But yeah, a gelatin crab. It's pretty funny. Alien centipede. I love how they have alien, and alien is they don't describe what it is. It a xenomorph? I don't know. It could be anything. It's up to you. Would love to have space. Alien Slug would be Space Slug. Love that band. Go check them out. They're on Bandcamp. Combat. Again, it's nothing revolutionary here, but it fits the system. It's a great system. It's fun. It's quick. Love it, love it, love it. They give you a pretty well-stocked bestiary. These are just, this is where I would usually say, these are your standard, tropes in games, but it's not. These guys really have, an anemone. You got stats for an anemone in this game. You wandered into an area where there is deadly anemone. The bass Alisk, a flying fish that eats rocks. Yeah, it's in this game. some of these creatures are silly, and that's fine because again, it's a silly game. The Hydra Goose. Now, I would love to see someone get this tattooed on themselves somewhere. That's a great piece of artwork. I love the Hydra Goose. And if you were to go on to the Dungeon Havoc website to purchase this, that's where it's available for now on. It's going to cost you $19. It is $19 well spent. I do actually have a physical copy of this. I on the Kickstarter, I was able to buy the multi-pack because I'm going to give it to a bunch of my friends. $19, it is definitely worth it. Check it out, and it's a very good purchase. Even if you're not going to use this and play the game, it's a good read. It's good inspiration, especially if you are one of those folks that is operating within the Mork Borg economy. Just to see what other people are doing, because Mork Borg is one of those systems that people have embraced and have done all sorts of wonderful things with, and this is one of them. So definitely go check this out. It is a great game. I thoroughly love it, and I actually would love to run this. One of the reasons why I do love this game so much was that back in the mid-90s, there was just a quick aside. They have the rules on how to create creatures on the fly. But of course, it's a random chart. There was a game that I used to play back in the mid 90s called Nexus: The Infinite City, which is a kind of a similar premise. It's about Los Angeles gets sucked into this multiversal space. It exists between all universes where a lot of realities converge. And Los Angeles becomes this place called Angel City, and it's about whatever crazy characters that you can create. It also gives rules on how to incorporate your characters from other popular games at the time to playing within their system. And it was a very interesting game. I remember because I created all sorts of weird. I call them Nexus anomalies, which were extraordinarily powerful entities, and it was just a fun game. And this captures that. It's kind of like the same premise. Nexus, the universes weren't falling apart. And the one thing I liked about that is that your gear and characters, when they stepped from one reality to another, so they could be crossing the street, they've entered another reality, and their gear and stuff adapts to that reality. And it's that was an interesting. And this one, it's not everything in Yigderra. Everything just gets slammed together and exists as it is. Whereas that one, you're running through a reality and your automatic rifle can turn into a crossbow if you run into a medieval. So yeah, it's interesting. It was an interesting mechanic. It was an interesting game. This captures that, and I like that. But it captures it, but it doesn't rip it off. And the nice thing about it is that you have total and 100% complete freedom to create the weirdest thing that you want. You can make a truly motley crew of adventurers. You can have a corporate yuppie from a Shadowrun world. With a diseased peasant from a medieval world, and a mechanized cyborg from an anime world. And I like that. It's not only does it throw back to that Nexus game I was talking about, but it's something unique. I think they with this it is an incredibly unique take on the Mork Borg system. It's a unique take. It's a unique game campaign setting. And because it is a Mork Borg hack, you can take stuff from other Mork Borg games and adapt it to it with very minimum fiddling. If you want to take something from Vast Grimm, you could bring a Vast Grimm character into this game and adapt it fairly easily. So, at the end of the day, check this out. Definitely worth the money. And, Here it gives you, flavor districts, but you're free to make up your own districts. But these are just like example districts. Check it out. Until next time, keep on gaming, go forth, and be awesome.